What's up? So anyhow, I just watched this Donut, this guy Donut, and you may have heard of him. I don't know. He's kind of a bigger. He's got more of an influencer status. He's got like 100,000 subscribers or more. His videos get like 20,000 views or something. Whatever. Blah blah blah. You know, but that doesn't mean shit to me. I'm not impressed by any of that stuff. But I was just bored. So I watched this donut guy. And I was so bored that I just kept watching. Because it's like, whatever. And he's talking about, you know, the conspiracy world. It's all the truth or conspiracy stuff. But anyways, I watched about an hour and a half of it, I guess. Mostly just because I was bored. And I'll be honest, to be honest with you, I'm not really impressed with a lot of this truther stuff either, where, you know, they're talking about all this, you know, it's just kind of like, you know, he goes into all the symbolism, and it's all about the symbolism, and, you know, and, the old school truther stuff from back in 2004, 2006, 2008, reviewing the early stuff like Zeitgeist and Alex Jones's Endgame, and you know, and all this old school shit, and I guess this donut guy's been doing it for a while, so he's talking about how it used to be, and compared to now, you got this new generation of newer truthers, and you know how, you know, and so he's going into all this stuff, and going into stuff like about purple lights, and you know that everything is a script, you know, all the events that we see on the news and all this stuff, it's all scripted and blah blah blah. So you get the idea, that kind of stuff. And I mean, to me, like, some of it's interesting. And when I first discovered YouTube, I didn't discover YouTube until the tail end, just before YouTube aborted itself. So in 2015, I was binge watching like insane amounts of YouTube because I had just discovered it in 2015. One of the reasons that it took me till that long, though, is because I've always hated social media. Social media fucking sucks. Anytime I ever did use any social media, it was always out of reluctance, where I'm like, I guess, you know, I'll try it maybe someday, and, you know, or whatever. But anyways, so I caught the tail end of YouTube before it aborted itself, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, YouTube, there's actually a social media platform that's not fucking shit? It doesn't suck? So I was binge watching YouTube like Neo in the movie The Matrix, when he's getting downloaded kung fu and jujitsu and shit. I was just watching all kind of crazy shit. And then, of course, then shortly after, then I watched YouTube abort itself in real time, and it was bizarre to me. You know, it was like I knew that it was going on. I was watching it happen in real time, and knowing that that's what's happening. Like they're scrubbing all this shit, and it's always that for me. Like I always catch the tail end of anything that's good. And a lot of that is just because I'm such a fucking cynic, where I'm just like, fuck you, I don't care about this. Go shove it up your fucking ass. It's all the same bullshit, you know. So because I'm such a cynic, I always catch the tail end of any good thing, you know. I think a lot of it has to do with being a cynic. But anyways, so he's like talking about this kind of stuff, and a lot of you guys are into that, like Freemasonry, Bill Cooper, you know, all this stuff, like all this shit, and he's just going over it, and I'm watching, like, I watched an hour and probably 45 minutes of it. And again, I have to admit, a lot of that stuff I'm not super impressed by. The only time I was back before YouTube aborted itself, because then those were the real truthers. I was like, I couldn't believe there was real truthers on YouTube. They're all gone. All that shit is gone. And like I said, I watched YouTube abort itself in real time. I watched all those good ones get cold by the fucking adpocalypse. And the adpocalypse, that's when all the sellouts completely took over YouTube. And then all the sellouts started showing up in my algorithm, and all the good shit wasn't showing up in my algorithm anymore because of the adpocalypse and the opportunity for all this sellout shit to happen. That's how YouTube aborted itself, by turning it into a big capitalist gangbang, a corporate fucking shill capitalist gangbang, letting everybody monetize their videos and all. It just turned. That's what happened. That's what shut it down, man. Reminds me of, there was a experiment done on apes, where they took a small community of apes as an experiment and incorporated the money system into it to watch and to observe what would happen. And as soon as the money system was employed in this chimpanzee and ape community, they all started stealing from each other, and all the women started prostituting them. All the female apes started prostituting themselves and shit. Like, see, they do these experiments so that they can observe how to collapse societies. This is how you collapse society. Inject the money system. And they did it. They did an experiment on apes, injected the money system into this little community of apes, and watched all those apes steal from each other and fucking attack each other, and the female apes prostituting each other. Well, that's what happened to YouTube. They just injected the monetization. Monetize your videos, and then that's how YouTube got aborted. Anyways, so anyways, yeah, it's like it's over. It's over. The truther movement is over. It's been injected with the money system, and now it's all about monetizing videos. It's not about the truth. So it's done. And the sad thing about these things is, the Grateful Dead is a prime example, perfect example of this. The Grateful Dead was this amazing thing, whether you know it or not. The Grateful Dead was a fucking amazing phenomenon. And so when Jerry Garcia died, it really killed the majority of the Grateful Dead. It really killed it because, so many people love Jerry Garcia. And, without Jerry Garcia, there really is no Grateful Dead. And unfortunately, it's just unfortunate. That's just unfortunate. Nobody wanted that. No, everybody wanted the Grateful Dead to continue. But like I saw like 12 or 13 shows with Jerry Garcia, and then Jerry Garcia died, and then I went to the first time I went to a Dead show. So they changed their name from the Grateful Dead to the Dead, which was appropriate because they already knew that without Jerry Garcia, there is no Grateful Dead. But see, I didn't know that, and a lot of fans didn't know that, and so they started touring as the Dead, and I went and saw them. And I was so excited to go see him because I love Bob Weir. I love, they're all great musicians. So I didn't really realize how much different it would be without Jerry Garcia. So when I went to go see my first Dead show after Jerry Garcia died, and I was super pumped, really excited, and I got there, and it was just nothing but disappointment. It was like being at a funeral or something. No pun intended. It was like being at a funeral. It was just like, this sucks. And so that's what I mean when I say I'm not really impressed with all this truther shit. I'm no more impressed than I was when I went to the Dead show after Jerry Garcia died. I thought it was going to be awesome. I thought it was. And it was just depressing. So that era is gone. The Grateful Dead era is gone. And the most depressing thing about it is they keep it's like they're trying to it's like a Weekend at Bernie's. You know that movie Weekend at Bernie's? They keep touring around the dead, the Grateful Dead that doesn't even exist anymore, trying to keep it alive. And it's like Weekend at Bernie's. It's like the Dead tours now. It's just like touring a dead corpse around and hoping people to desperately trying to keep something alive it's over. Like, no, people can't accept that the Grateful Dead, that whole phenomenon is done. It's over. And so you got all these dead tours, and it's all sellout bullshit. It's all fake. It's all just fake. And that's what's with the truther thing. It's over. The truther movement is over just as much as the Grateful Dead is over. But you'll see all these young people, like, I can't stand seeing like millennials and Zoomers wearing Grateful Dead shirts because they don't even know anything about it. They don't know anything about it. But they think they do. Like, man, they think that they are the epitome of a deadhead and shit, and they never even seen a show with Jerry Garcia, dude. Like, it's hilarious. Well, that's what happened to the truther movement. All these new truthers, all these people, you know, they suck. They're talking about stuff that has already been explored 30 years ago, and to them it's a new discovery, and they're like, oh my God, putting out some video, and you're like, dude, what? They've been knowing about this for 30 fucking years ago. What? You're acting like this is some new thing, you know? So anyways, I'm just explaining why I'm not really impressed with the truther stuff nowadays, because I'm not impressed with it. I'm just not, you know. I'm open to it. I'm hoping that there might be some more truther shit come out that's cool. Like back when I caught the tail end of YouTube before it aborted itself. Yeah, there was a ton of amazing shit. They scrubbed all that stuff from the internet, man, and replaced it with TrueStream Media and Styx Hexenhammer and Really Graceful and Corbett Report and Crow House. All this lame shit. It's all fucking lame. It's gone. The era's over. And people can't accept it, and so they keep trying to, like, wheel this fucking dead corpse around like, Weekend at Bernie's and shit. So anyways, but I'm bored, so I'm just watching this donut guy, and every once in a while he would mention that he's in recovery. That's the only thing that kept me from shutting the video off. Is he mentioned he was very subtle. He'd only mention it here and there, and recovery, man. See what recovery is. So recovery is kind of code for me, because I don't want to. I'll say what it is because I don't have a lot of viewers, but normally I wouldn't say it because it's out of respect for the traditions, because the traditions of recovery are put in place for a very specific reason, and it's not to hide the truth from people and this and that. It's based in integrity, because recovery isn't for sale. You don't see it on billboards. You don't see. So what recovery is code word for is the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. And if you'll notice, you'll never see billboards, 12 steps of AA recovery on billboards or anything. That's because they have integrity. They don't want to promote it, because they know what happens. Promotion. It's in the traditions. It's in the traditions that we do not promote. So, and anonymity. The reason for anonymity is because if I'm out on videos and I'm talking about how wonderful recovery is and all this stuff, and people start looking to me like, oh man, look at this guy's a great representative, like looking to me like I'm a representative of it, and then I go and relapse, and next thing you know, I'm all cracked out. Well, then I've just misrepresented what recovery is. So and that's why anonymity is to protect the 12 steps and recovery, because I am not a spokesperson. Nobody is. There is no spokesperson for the 12 steps of AA and recovery and shit. That's why all people that are members keep anonymity. It's not because it's a secret society that's part of the Illuminati and Freemasonry and shit. It's because the truth is in recovery. The real truth is in recovery. And it's minus all the glamour and the hype. There is no, you look at a 12-step book, it looks like the most boring book you'll ever read. You'll just looking at it, you don't want to read it. You're like, fuck this. You look at the cover and you're like, fuck this. You know, never judge a book by its cover. But see, people think anonymity is because it's secret society Freemason shit. You know, it's like low level free. Well, that's not why anonymity. Anonymity is to protect the people that whose lives have been saved by this shit. Because, you know, and it's you know, in the traditions it says we do not promote this. And if a person is in the steps and a member, they don't promote it because, you know, there's all these really, it's like the most effective anarchy system that's ever existed in the history of the fucking world. Anarchy. You want to talk about anarchy? There is no successful system of anarchy except for recovery. And like I said, recovery is code. So I'm just talking about this because I don't get a lot of viewers. If I had more, I only have 2 subscribers. My videos average maybe 4 views or something. So I feel okay talking about this, but I want to let you know I am no spokesperson for this shit. And you need to research it for yourself. Don't listen to me, but don't listen to these people telling you that the 12 steps is Freemasonry either. Find out for yourself. But you want to know my opinion. My opinion is that shit works. That is not Freemasonry. That's not part of a conspiracy. The 12 steps? No. If it was Freemasonry and part of the conspiracy, they'd be you'd be seeing it on billboards and it would be a big thing. You'd be seeing it, the symbols on dollar bill or whatever. Well, actually, you do kind of see it, but it's the truth hiding in plain sight. And it's readily available to anybody that wants it. But it's only for people who are desperate for the truth. If you're desperate for the truth and you know, you're willing to go to the lengths to attain the real truth about so much of all this stuff that they hype up on the internet, it's in the steps. And you can go through the steps and then you can a lot more easily see through all of this fucking fake bullshit. There's so much fake bullshit. But anyways, no. If you're going to judge the steps, do them first. Do the steps. Like step 1 is admit that you're powerless. People say, oh, well, see, people try to use step 1 as a way to debunk the steps. So I'm supposed to be admitting that I'm powerless. Oh, that's just more conspiracy and this and that, you know, to dumb down or whatever. But you are powerless. What kind of power do you have over the World Economic Forum? What kind of power do you have over the globalists? What kind of power do you have over the Freemasons and Freemasonry? What kind of power do you have over all kinds of circumstances in life? There's all kinds of circumstances in life that everybody's powerless over, has no power over. And the step 1 is admitting powerlessness. Even Bruce Lee, look into Bruce Lee, even Bruce Lee himself, his whole philosophy was based on that. Surrendering is how you, surrendering to accepting reality for what it is instead of living in delusion. You know, that's admitting powerlessness is accepting reality for what it is rather than having all this delusion and stuff like, you know. And we all have delusion. Not one of us is without delusion. We all have it to varying degrees. You know, step 2 is coming to believe that there's something greater than me. Believing that there's something greater than me. I'm not God. There are things out in the world and in whatever universe or whatever reality that does exist, there are things that are greater than I. And people forget this all the time. This is why there's so many problems in the world. People are filled with delusion. They think that they're better than they really are. And that causes all kinds of world problems. Ever been around somebody who believes they're better than they really are? They're the most fucking, that is a sheeple NPC, you know? So admitting powerlessness, admitting that I'm not God. I am not this, and admitting that there's all kinds of shit that I'm powerless over. I can't just lift a fucking a school bus with one arm. I can't leap tall buildings in a single bound. Well, there's people all over in the world that think that they can do this shit. They think they're way better than they are. And what they need to do is admit that they're not. Admit it. Just admit it. You know, and they won't. They can't and they won't. So that's all step one is admit that I'm powerless over fill in the blank, whatever it is. We are powerless. Human beings are powerless over so much shit in the world and in reality. So that's not a conspiracy for a person to admit that they're powerless over things. There are many things that we're powerless over. So, you know, and then like step two is coming to believe that there are things and people and all kinds of that is greater than me. I am not God. I am not like, and admitting these things, like just being honest with oneself, you know. The step three is make a decision to turn my will over to a power greater than myself. And really what that is kind of like, you know, but so you have to, so I explained 1 and 2. Now 3, then, but it's like, I'm not going to explain 3. My point is do the fucking steps. Do the 12 steps. Then tell me that it's Freemasonry and put it to the acid test first. Do an honest attempt at the steps and then come and tell me. But if you haven't done the steps, then you don't know anything about it. So you can't like not do the steps and then tell me that you know all about recovering the steps and that it's all Freemasonry and Illuminati. You don't know shit. I've been doing it for fucking 23 years. So if somebody's trying to tell me that it's Illuminati, Freemasonry, this and that, it's like, dude, do them. If you know so much about it, then do it. Do them. Because you can't. It's like there's a saying that says, contempt prior to investigation will lead a man into everlasting ignorance. So if you're showing contempt of the 12 steps prior to like investigating them, which means do them, do the steps. That's how you investigate them, is do them for yourself. What harm is actually going to happen if you do them? There is no harm in doing it. It's not going to hurt you. It's not a conspiracy. And if it is, you'll find out by doing them that it's a conspiracy. Well, how different is that than finding out that all this other shit is conspiracy? Don't you want to know the truth? So if you want to know the truth about the 12 steps, you have to do them. You have to do them. And if you're not willing to do them, then don't expect anybody to respect your opinion on the 12 steps when you've never done them and you're never going to. So anyways.